In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to spice up your blues guitar playing with a few simple jazz chord shapes. This is going to add color and harmonic sophistication, and it's easy. Don't worry, no long theory explanations. I'm going to give you the shapes, and you'll be playing these within minutes. Let's get started. Alrighty, thank you for tuning in to today's lesson. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's all about taking a G blues and getting some nice, tasty, harmonically rich jazz chords to play on it. So there's quite a lot of information here. It's not a theory lesson, okay? This is a hands-on guitar lesson, but still, there's a lot of information, so go ahead and download the PDF so you can just print out the chord shapes. I'm actually looking at the PDF right here to make sure that I play the same thing that you're going to download. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to play this one time as a 12-bar blues so that you can hear this go by. You can hear it all hang together. And I'm going to play chord voicings without the bass notes. So instead of something like this, I'm just going to play that as like a G7. Okay, here we go. A 1, chick, 2, chick, a 1, 2, ready, and. And then we were at the top of the next 12-bar blues. So I'm going to show you those chord shapes. Just grab your guitar and let's get started. Okay, the first chord shape. Here's how we're going to get to it. Play your good old G7 bar chord, you know. Just play a G bar chord or whatever. Now, take away the 5th and 6th string. Pretend those strings broke. You're not allowed to use them. So bar your 1st finger, 3rd fret, and then add your 2nd finger on the 4th fret, 3rd string. Now that's, in theory speak, that's a G7 chord. We're going to add a very colorful note, the E. That's on the 2nd string, 5th fret. And that gives us what's called a G13 chord. I'm not going to explain to you why. That's the 13th. Don't worry about it. Just hear it and just feel that chord shape for now. If we were to play that with a bass note, it would sound like this. Okay, but we're going to leave the bass note off. Next chord shape, it's going to be on the first 4 strings. We're going to play a C9. Let me show you how we're going to do that. Take your 3rd finger, play it across the top 3 strings like a bar. That's just 1 finger. And then add your 1st finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. So if you imagine that those were 4 horns or 4 singers, we get smooth voice leading between those. Can you hear that? That's much smoother than going. That sounds very muddy and clunky, but that has that jazz tastiness to it. Okay, so we're going to start on the G chord, the G13. Then we're going to do C9, and then back to the G13. So far, so good. Now we're heading towards the 4 chord of the blues. We're going to do a neat little transition. Here's what we're going to do. Still barring top 4 strings at the 3rd fret, I want you to take your 3rd and 4th finger and play them at the 5th fret. So we're going to play This actually has a very fancy name. It's called D minor 11 because that's what it sounds like if the D is in the bass. Okay? And then real simple, we're going to slide the 3rd and 4th finger down to the 4th fret, but we're going to take the 2nd finger and sneak it in on the 3rd fret. Might be a little hard to see exactly what I'm doing in the camera, but don't worry, it's all in the tabs. So that 3-chord transition sounds like this. It's really cool. You can see each voice moving because each string is a voice. Let's play that much so far. Okay, here we go. 1, check, 2, check, 1, 2, ready, and. Then we're at the 4 chord on the blues, okay? I'm just playing, even though my thumb's looking like it's doing something, I'm really just playing the top 4 strings. Next, C sharp diminished 7th. And what you want to look at, for example, going from the C9 to C sharp diminished 7th, really just one note is moving. Can you see a lot of the notes are staying in the same place? Okay. Then back to G13. Now we're going to go to E7 sharp 9. Let me show you what we're going to do. Slide up to the 6th fret and we're going to reduce. We're going to leave the 1st string off. We're just going to play those 3 strings. If you've ever played Purple Haze, you know E7 sharp 9. So we're just playing the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. Now you might be wondering, you might say, Adam, we had 4 voices in the chord. Why are we going down to 3? It's in the interest of trying to keep the G melody note. And if this was a big band, what would be happening is one of the voices might be doubling up on one of those parts. So we're, for all intents and purposes, we've still got 4 voices up there. Don't let your eyes fool you. Okay, I know it seems like a strange answer, but that's, voices are crossing and overlapping. Next, we're going to go to an A minor 7. You can do it like that, or if it's easier, you can just do it with 2 G's. Then C sharp diminished 7. Okay. And then we're going to end on the 1. Now that's bar 11. There's still a turnaround at the end of the blues. I want to do that in the next section of this lesson. Okay, so I'm going to play the whole blues for you up to that point, nice and slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, now I'm going to show you that last turnaround now, this thing. Because there's something really cool going on there. If you understand the idea, the chords will become easier. So why don't you just play that G13 voicing, okay? This is the turnaround now at bar 11. And now go up to B flat 13 at the 6th fret, and then you're going to come down 1 fret to A 13, except with your 3rd finger you're going to play the B flat melody note. See that? It's got that bite to it, but it somehow makes sense because of the movement. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to take the lowest 3 voices, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, and move them all down a fret, but you're going to retain the B flat on the top. Okay? So it's really like you're going, but you're keeping the same melody note up top. You're going ba 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 ba, and it takes some crafty changing of fingers to accommodate for that. Okay? Let me play the blues for you one more time. Here we go. 1, chink, 2, chink, 1, 2, banky bang. Okay, so that is the 12-bar blues with the jazz chords. Once you get a feel for this, for these chords on the top 4 strings, you can then go back and try to add bass notes if you want. That's usually backwards from how a rock and blues player might do this. Most players would try to hang on to the bass note and then look for chord extensions above that. In this lesson, I'm showing you play the 4-note chord and then add the bass afterwards. Okay? And then you're going to end up coming up with all those chords that you see in those jazz guitar books with 1,000,001 chords, but you can't use those books. They're just not practical. You're much better off learning a G blues with some tasty moves like this to get a feel for it, to get something under your fingers, and just get started with that and let it grow. So grab the PDF. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. It's been my pleasure once again to teach you guitar. Leave a comment below if you enjoyed this or if you have any questions, and I'll see you at the next lesson. All right. God bless.